Hi, my name is Alicia, and I am the host of Behind the Brand. Behind the Brand is a talk show where I interview entrepreneurs and content creators and discuss how to build a brand and who they are behind the businesses they run. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Today we have a special guest, Tim Irving, and you're my first black man, so I'm so excited that you're joining me, okay? He is the owner of the original Irving Whiskey. It was actually opened during 2020, and he is born and raised in Atlanta. So this is the Atlanta season. So thank you so much for coming and joining Behind the Brand series.
Thank you for having me.
Let the people know a little bit about you.
All right, so my name is Timothy Irving, as Alicia said. I was born and raised here in Atlanta. And so just a little bit about myself. Growing up, I had never really seen myself kind of falling into this realm of being an entrepreneur. I always wanted stability, right? And I always kind of played it safe. And that was just because of some of my upbringing where I didn't have a lot of stability. And so that's something that I wanted to ensure that I had. And so being an entrepreneur, taking risks was not in the cards. And so I went to Georgia State for my undergrad degree in psychology. I went on to get my master's degree in school counseling, and then my education specialist degree in counselor education with an emphasis in play therapy. And then I'm currently working on my PhD as well in counselor education and supervision.
Come on,
and so I've always just had a passion for mental health. However, I didn't want to just be stuck in that box. I had other desires and wishes, but I didn't really think it was attainable. I didn't think it was realistic for me because, again, I wanted to be able to provide for myself. I'm married, and so I want to be able to provide for my wife. And so doing certain things just didn't seem realistic to me. However, you know, when the pandemic hit, well, actually before the pandemic hit, I just realized life is short. And I didn't want to be on my deathbed and have regrets. And so talking to my now wife, I was just telling her about some of the ideas that I had, and she was like, why not? And I was like, damn, why not? And so we were off from there, so yeah.
Okay, so you answered the first question. I feel the stability too, because I'm like, ooh, entrepreneurship, it don't sound stable, but I guess when you get there, it will be stable. So before the pandemic, you was having conversations. How long did the process take for you to, from the idea to you actually like launching the product?
And so the idea of it started in about 2017, and it started from a simple conversation with my aunt. I was talking with my aunt, and she was just telling me a little bit about the family history, and I was fascinated by it. She was telling me about how, so my family on my dad's side, they're from Richland, Georgia, real small country town.
Okay.
And so back in 1968, my grandfather passed away. And it was a lot of them. It was 16 kids.
Okay.
Right? And so when my grandfather passed away, my eldest uncle started taking care of the family as the oldest male in the family. And again, it was 16 of them. Yeah. So at the time, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for black families. It was still segregated. Again, this is a small country Georgia town. And so with that being said, he had to get innovative. And so he started bootlegging. And so he started making moonshine. It was taking a lot of risks to take care of the family. And so I was just really inspired by that. Unfortunately, that his mash bill was never passed down. I was disappointed to hear that, but I felt like this shouldn't be something that should be forgotten. So I wanted to pay homage to my family's name, which is why it's called the original Irving Whiskey.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that is so cool.
So yeah, it just started with a simple conversation with that and kind of just blossomed from there.
Yeah, it's something that you can carry on, and it will carry on future. We can't have them missing nothing through it. Okay, that is so cool. So like, the process in like starting that, like, how did you even know how to go about it? Like, you had the conversation. Did you just do a whole bunch of research and stuff like that? Did you have anybody to help you, or was it just like all you?
So it's been all me. And because of that, it's been a lot of trial and error. Because again, I come from a mental health background. I wasn't a business major. I didn't have a lot of experience in spirits outside of drinking it. So it was just a lot of research. And so when you break into the spirit industry, there's different ways you can go about it. And so the most ideal way is to have your own distillery. However, that costs millions of dollars. I don't have millions of dollars.
Okay.
All right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
And so, I went about like, how can we get this rolling? How can we get this started? And so I just started contacting various distilleries all across the United States and even outside the United States. Knew I wanted to get into whiskey in particular. In the black community, something that we do tend to gravitate towards is cognacs and newly tequilas. However, I didn't feel like I had a personal connection to cognacs. I know nothing about cognac France, so I'm not going to start a cognac. With tequilas, it's coming out of Mexico. I have no connection with that, And so bourbon is an American-made spirit, right? And so I have a connection with that. Moonshine, which is what my family made, is unaged whiskey. And so I was like, this is what I want to get into. So I just started doing a lot of research on different mash bills, started thinking about, the palates, the notes that I wanted to have, and then what was the mash that would be able to produce that. And so, just going to different distilleries, having these conversations to see how we can make that happen. And I found one distillery, and, I told them my ideas, what I wanted. And they were like, okay, let's work together and make this happen. And so, partnering with this distiller allowed me to be able to kind of launch. And eventually I do want to get to the point where I do have my own distillery. However, until I establish myself in the market, make sure I can maintain, this is the route we're going to be going.
Okay, that is really cool. Do you know how many I don't know if you know the numbers or knowledge base, how many black people have their own line, whiskey line, or do you feel like you're just out here it's hard to find other people who do it?
And so I'm glad you brought that up actually, because when the general population looks at spirit brand owners, and when they're black, you're seeing that they're celebrities, right? However, a lot of times the celebrities, they're just the face card, and they don't actually own it. They have nothing to do with the process. And so I already automatically screen them out. No offense, no shade to them.
You said they ain't really
they're not in the churches.
Okay.
And so here in Atlanta, though, there's actually a pretty tight-knit network of spirit brand owners. And so we have a group on Instagram, and it's people who have vodkas, a lot of wines, and some whiskey brand owners as well. And we're in this group, and we just feed off each other. We bounce ideas off of each other. There's no crabs in the barrel, and we're all trying to make it.
Okay.
And so shout out to Greenwood Whiskey, shout out to Sakari, shout out to Red Hazel, 79 Vodka.
Okay, yeah, shout them out. Okay, period. I never really thought about owning my own wine. I don't drink though, so. But I have a wine that I feel like it's good for me. So maybe I should do my own wine line. I'm just playing, but maybe one day. So, what does success mean to you when it comes to entrepreneurship?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like success is being able to get to the point where I'm in the green. Where we're generating enough income where it can sustain on its own, where I'm no longer having to kind of bring in the money from the outside to continue to kind of put it into it, and our sales are able to kind of stand on its own. So I think that is what success looks like. And then on a larger scale, again, get it to that point where I can have my own distillery, where I can have my own whiskey lounge. That's what that looks like for me.
Whiskey lounge are really cool. So when it comes to whiskey, I don't know nothing about this, but do you try to source it and put it in stores or not yet? That's not the route that you want to.
So we actually are in stores. So in the United States, there's a tiered system, 3-tier system, and so you have the producers. You have the distributors, and then you have the retailers. And so producers can't directly sell to consumers because of prohibition and all that stuff. And so The biggest challenge that small brands typically have is getting to distributors, right? Because distributors, they pay for the spirit on the front end, and they get it placed in the stores, right? But if it's not an established brand, they have concerns that who's going to buy this? If I buy this from you, who's going to buy it from me, right? And so a lot of distributors don't want to take that risk, but fortunately it's been a blessing and a curse, and it's a whole other story, but we were able to get on board with a distributor, and so we got into approximately, I think, 18 store locations, 3 restaurants / bars. And now we're with a bigger distributor. And so right now we're in a waiting process just because we're transitioning from one distributor to the next. And so we have to wait for the state to get back to us. However, once we do finish our onboarding, we're going to be able to be distributed across the state of Georgia. And so that distributor is Savannah Distributors. And so if you guys ever want to request the original Irving Whiskey at your location, we're with Savannah Distributors.
Okay, Savannah, Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where my daddy from.
Oh, okay.
So on this journey, I know it's been tough and I know you learned a lot. But what's one great advice that you got when you started your business?
That's a good question. I've never really got direct advice, and I wish I had. Just because, like I was saying earlier, it's been kind of a trial and error kind of thing. At the time when I first got started, I didn't really have anyone that I can consult with or knew who I could reach out to. So just talking with my wife, she's just always been really encouraging and saying, yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be some tough times, but you're not going to quit. You have a good thing going. You have a good product. And so just keep going no matter what. You can take a break, Okay,
so you're not letting you quit.
Yeah. You can take some time off, but you're not going to quit. And so just, continue to be kind of resilient throughout the process.
That's good. That is some good advice. It's gonna get tough, it's gonna get hard. Well, it's just telling you what it is, but you just gotta persevere, basically. So
absolutely.
So that's good. So speaking about, you have a wife, you have your PhD journey, okay, and you work as well. So how do you balance all of that?
Ooh, that's a great question. Oh man. Honestly, right now I'm at a crossroads. So full time I work as a school counselor, and in addition to that I work as a therapist. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and then
Black men do it. Okay, shout out to you.
Yeah, and then like I was saying before, I'm working on my PhD as well, and so I realize I'm at a point now where I'm like, I can't balance it all, and be a husband, because ultimately I'm doing this for my family, and if I'm doing all of this, I don't have time for my family, then that's a problem. And so I realized some things have to change. So literally, as of 3 weeks ago, I made the decision that this will be my last school year as a school counselor. And so It's a tough choice because I've done this for 6 years. I love working with children and adolescents, but my schedule doesn't allow me enough time or flexibility to do what I have to do outside of the job. And so I plan on doing my working in private practice full time, because I can schedule my clients however, whenever, so that I can have time to do events on a Wednesday evening or on a Friday afternoon. I can't do that currently, and so that's just going to be, it's a risk. And as I told you earlier, I've never been about risk. I've always been about stability. But if I want to grow, if I want to be successful, I'm going to have to take these chances. It's a possibility I may fall on my face, but it's also a possibility that I can be great, and so I'm willing to take that chance.
Was this your first time saying oh my goodness, realizing I'm about to quit my job?
No, actually, just early this week it was And yeah, it's a scary thought, but at the same time, because salary, your money's gonna come.
Okay, it's coming. That's how I feel. My 9 to 5.
Right, exactly. But with this, it's like you got to get out and get it. You're gonna make this work, and so that part was scary, but at the same time, it's like exhilarating. So I'm excited about the possibilities.
Yes, because you'll be able to grow and do more stuff that you can do and have more time. Yes. So that's actually a great segue to the next question, kinda. It was going to say, how have you had to pivot in entrepreneurship, if you have?
And so, like I was saying about the distribution, not to give too many details, but my former distributor started dealing with some issues. And again, they're the ones that sell our product, get it placed in stores. And so they dealt with their issues where they were no longer able to do that. And then it had some back end effects on my business. And so that made us take a huge hit. And like I said right now, we are in stores, but if the stores sell out, they can't resupply currently because we haven't finished our onboarding with our other distributor. And so we've really had to, the last 4 or 5 months, really have had to learn how to keep things going, but not putting too much into it because we don't want it to be in vain, because we can't actively sell at the moment. And at least not in retail. We do still have our online sales where you can order and have it delivered to you, but as far as selling in retail in the state of Georgia, we're basically put on freeze at the moment. And so, having to pivot, having that time period where I'm having to go out and find a new distributor, which again is such a challenging process. And so, trying to do that in a time period where you don't lose all your steam from all the work that we've done in the past year. And so, that's definitely something we had to do. But, we're still here, we're still fighting. And
that's good. So you have to change distributors because of whatever happened. So that's a whole nother process. So yes, that's that's good. But so you do online sales. So do you feel like it was great during the pandemic, or which we're still in technically? Do you feel like that's still good though? Because with retail, it's only people in Georgia. Right. So I'm like, how has it been with the online sales during the pandemic though, where you can sell everywhere?
Well,
in America.
We actually saw a lot more of our sales come from retail.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Just because at the time, so there's a lot of red tape and laws. And so the company that we work with allows you to ship to, the different states. But they have these networks put in place. And so typically it's illegal to ship alcohol. I can't put a bottle in the mail and ship it off to my uncle in California. It's illegal. And
they got everything illegal.
It's very strict. It's a lot to navigate, which again I'm learning. And so this company that we work with at the time, they didn't have Georgia as a market just because Georgia's a relatively conservative state, and so we weren't able to deliver to our people. And so I'm from Georgia. This is where we do most of our marketing. We do our tastings and everything, just because this is my main platform. So it was difficult to really generate online sales from that type of marketing during that time. Now, more recently, literally in the last, I think it's been about 6 months, Georgia, we can now deliver to residents here. And so that has helped increase sales. Also North Carolina, that's another place where we started to see an increase, but we didn't have access to it before. And so it has done better now, but it's still not where I want it to be. And so, but that just has to do with money, and marketing, media and everything like that. So, ideally, I would like to get to the point where we can balance both, where we can do well in selling both online and in retail.
Okay, yes, that is really cool. So you kind of answered this early, but you can add to it. But what's been the most calculated risk that you have taken as an entrepreneur?
I would just say overall, get into the spirit industry.
Okay.
Period. Because especially when it comes to whiskey, because you have to age it, right? You know, you have to go through the whole process. You have to go through all the legal things.
What is aging?
And so my product is a 2-year straight bourbon whiskey.
Oh.
And so you know, after you go through the distilling process, you age it in oak barrels for 2 years. Yeah.
What?
Before
you can sell it.
Before you sell it.
Oh,
and so it's a whole process. And it's expensive, the whole process before you even get to the point, before you can even make sales.
I'm like, 1 barrel, please. Half barrel.
Right. Yes, exactly.
2 years. Yes. Woo, that's long.
And so I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars before I even made 1 penny.
Oh my God.
And so that is definitely the risk. So of course, you know, talking with my wife, like, you good with this, right? You know, because you know where my money going.
Okay.
And, you know, so I felt comfortable once, you know, she was good and on board with it. But yeah, that's the risk, because you're spending a lot of money and there's no guarantee at all that you're going to get it back.
At all.
Yeah.
The key in here sounds like find a supportive partner.
Yes.
So since this is like something that you're passionate about and stuff like that, it's like it takes your time, but you love it. But have you felt that same support from your family, like on your dad's side? Like, do you talk to them about it? Like, do they have like, are they like, oh my goodness, like that's so cool? Or is it more just like, oh, okay, cool, and he's doing this?
No, that's it, man. I've had family come out the woodwork. People I don't even know started finding me on Facebook. They've been really, really supportive.
Okay,
like I was telling you off camera, a lot of them live in like Long Beach and in California, and so I'll be honest with you. Initially, that's where a lot of my online sales were coming from. Was from my California family.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Where they were just, they were like, yeah, have you heard about this? Sending it to each other, ordering it for each other, and they really gotten behind it and have been really, really supportive. And you know, that's exactly what I wanted. You know, because I want to put our family name out there. So
that is true. Are you the only child?
I am. Well, I'm my mom's only child. Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes.
I see what you're saying. But well, your dad's side, like you're not the only child, so okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's good. That's good to have supportive family, because you know sometimes they try to support you when you're up there, but it's like, no, I need you in the trenches. Like I need the money now. Okay, I need the support now. Yeah. So that's good that your family supports you and that you have a good support system with your wife. So that's really great to hear, and being on this journey, because it can be so like taxing. It can be like, oh my goodness, like what am I doing this for? So that's good that you have that on there. So happy for you. So this is one thing that I was like, oh my goodness, okay. This question, because I see you tweet something. I was like, oh gosh. So what is your morning routine? And what time do you wake up?
Okay. So I wake up at 4 in the morning, Monday through Thursday. Because I work out, so that's just part of my self-care routine, working out. And so, you know, I for those of you who are familiar with the Atlanta area, I live in Brookhaven currently, and my gym is in Camp Creek. So I have to wake up at 4 in the morning.
That's north, and you're going by me, Camp Creek area. That's south.
Yeah.
They gotta be like, where's the gym closer?
Yeah, but my trainer, he's out of there. So, you know, I'm there and I'm working out at 5 in the morning till about 6:30, then I make my commute here back home, shower, and then I head off to my 9 to 5 as school counselor. And you know, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and then you know, I try to fit everything else in between. You know, contacting clients, you know, scheduling appointments and everything after that.
Sounds like you need an assistant already. Like everybody needs an assistant.
Yes. But one thing I will tell you is that I don't play about my sleep, and I'm in bed by 8:30 every night.
You're in bed by 8:30?
8:30.
What?
Like in bed under the covers, 8:30.
Oh my goodness.
Because I have to make sure I have my rest. I have to make sure I have my sleep, because I can't function.
What time do you eat dinner? Like 5:30?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm just leaving work at 5:30, but I see what you're saying. But okay, so you wake up early because you do have 9 to 5, so I didn't know, but I can see it now. Like you get up, you do that. And that is really good to have a self-care routine in general, to just have some time to yourself. Don't the 9 to 5 just take all your time. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, whoop child. I said 4 o'clock. I was on my way here. I was like, ooh, I like to wake up early, but I don't like to get up early. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get up, I can do the 6 to 7, but getting me out the door, woo, that is so hard.
Well,
so.
I don't like it, but I do it. I can do it, but I do not like it. Well, I can't wait till I know I have to do it.
Okay, you just be so grateful. Like, oh, I gotta get up at this time. No more. So this is the last couple questions. You talked about it a little bit earlier about your family history and how you want to do it, but in general, what is your why for what you do? Even if it's like the mental health, it is I would call it a passion project, but I mean, of course, the whiskey brand. What is your why, and why do you do what you do?
My why is for my family, for my future family. Like I mentioned earlier, growing up as an adolescent, I didn't have a lot of stability. There was a lot of things going on at home, and I want to kind of change that narrative for my kids, or child.
Okay, he ready. Your wife, did she know you put S on the end?
And I just want to build a legacy for my family, for my kids. I want them to have something for themselves when they grow up. And I don't know what that's going to look like, 5 years down the road. But that's why I grind so hard right now, so that I can be at a point by the time where I am ready, or when we do have kids, that I can be present. Because I can't grind like this with kids, because I want to be a present father.
Come on, present black father. Yeah. Yes.
And I want to be emotionally available, physically available for my kids, but I also want to be able to finance a good life for them. So yeah, that's my why. That's why I'm like, I don't mind getting up at 4. I don't mind balancing 3-4 different hats right now, because it's going to pay off, so that by the time my kids are in the picture, we're going to be good. Okay,
yes. You spoke about your PhD. Where do you get your PhD again, and like when do you?
And so I'm getting my PhD in counselor education and supervision, and so it's just kind of an extension of it'll allow me to teach on a doctoral level. And I don't even know if that's the route I'm going to go in, just because. Currently, being in private practice is very lucrative, and so I don't feel like I need to kind of go into, the teaching of higher ed. But a piece of that is I'm doing it because it's for myself. It's just to kind of prove to myself that I can do it. Just because growing up, I did struggle academically. I wasn't like a straight A student. And, I was more into girls than I was into my schoolwork, and so I kind of doing it for myself to show, myself and the haters, not
the haters, okay.
That I can do this, And so, yeah.
That's so funny that you said it, because on my way here I was listening to Lil Wayne, and it was like, they throw dirt on my name, but they still dig me. Being that you're from Atlanta, you're in Atlanta, do you feel like you had the, I wouldn't say like pressure, but it's like, oh my gosh, like everybody's an entrepreneur, like I have to be an entrepreneur. Do you feel like you had that? Or not really?
Not at all.
Okay.
I stick to my lane, and honestly, you don't really see a whole lot of people break into the spirit industry. And it's a reason for that. But no, I feel no pressure at all. Like I said, I have my own goals and everything that I'm striving for, and it's no connection to what other people are doing. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, everybody's an entrepreneur, business owner, or something like that.
Oh, but, we get it. We grind here.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your friend, business owners, and maybe next I'll be coming to a city near you. Bye. Thanks for listening.